am whatever I say I am. So if y'all remember that song by Eminem that goes, I am whatever I say I am, and if I wasn't, then why would I say I am? What I kept hearing is that chosen ones are walking karma, but divine beings are judgment itself. Now, if you listen to my last video, I talked about there being a difference between chosen one and divine beings. And there's no need to go back and listen to that video if you hadn't heard it, because that one has nothing to do with this one, right? I don't even know why chosen ones are walking karma and divine beings are judgment itself came through for this message, because that's not even really what this message is about. But what this message is about is that, look, for someone out there, you lack discipline, and spirit is giving your wealth away, right? Spirit is giving your abundance away. So y'all, first of all, let's talk about the full moon, right? The full moon happened on Monday, May 12th, right? And it was a full moon in Scorpio. So when we talk about transformation, I really hope that you all, because first of all, the full moon is a time for release. Now, if you're trying to manifest and bring something in, you do that on the new moon, right? If you're using moon water in some of your practices, if you're trying to manifest and bring something in, you need to use new moon water. If you're trying to release and let go and cut cords, that's where you use water from the full moon. So not only it being a full moon, but a full moon in Scorpio on a Monday, right? Definitely a great time to do some release. And I'm really hoping that people took advantage of that, right? So I went walking. I was guided when I got up Monday morning to take a spiritual bath first thing that morning. So I did it. Then I went to the park and I went walking. And I listened to the short that I did with the Bring Back What Once Was Mine, that Call My Power Back. I did that one. And I listened to that several times as I just walked, right? And I just released. And it started to like drizzle just a little bit. So I went ahead and cut my walk early. And then I got home and I took another spiritual bath, right? I was just guided to, so I did it. And I was off Monday, so I relaxed. Tuesday, right? I was putting in, because I use MyFitnessPal to try to track my steps and also to monitor my calorie intake, because I'm trying to be more conscious about what and how much I'm eating, right? So as I was putting in my information for Tuesday, I realized I never did it for Monday. So I went in and then I used the steps tracker on my phone, and the information synced over, and I realized I walked 9,099 steps on Monday. And that was not intentional at all. I did not, well, first of all, the step tracker, I don't think it's like 100% accurate anyways. I think it like missed some. Then I also think it overcounts a little bit sometimes too. But it was just, y'all, it was so weird to me that it ended, or my count for the day ended up being exactly 9,099. And if you know, nines also represent endings, which is why this year being a year of 9 and also a year of the snake in Chinese astrology, it's a very powerful year. Like this year is definitely all about ending cycles. And then the new year in 2026, the year of 1 is, and y'all, 2026 is definitely a lucky year. It is a lucky year, right? But it's also a year of 1, which is about new beginnings, right? So definitely I hope everyone that had anything that they wanted to close out, I mean, you still have several more several more full moons throughout the year to go ahead and do your release work, but it was a full moon in Scorpio. So I really hope y'all took advantage of that transformation, right? But anyways, this is a little side story. Back to the message, right? So I was surprised, right? There's a YouTuber who has a pretty good following, right? Pretty good following. She did a video last week. This particular YouTuber did a video last week that said, you have abundance coming in, and here's what you need to do to obtain it, right? That video got a couple of hundred views, which I was thoroughly surprised, because her views are normally in the thousands, right? So a couple of hundred didn't really make sense to me. This person did a video the other day that said, let's take a look at who's in your energy. And when I tell you, within 24 hours, that video was in the thousands. Y'all, when I tell you, I was flabbergasted. You mean to tell me a reader that is this popular and gets this many views does a video about wealth and what you need to do to obtain this wealth that's coming in, and only a few hundred people were interested in hearing it? But then this person does a video days later, like this video about wealth was done last week, so people have had plenty of time to tune in. But you mean to tell me days later, this person does a video about let's see who's in your energy, and thousands of people come flocking to it? You mean to tell me that people are literally more worried about the people around them than they are about doing the inner work to bring in their own personal wealth? I don't get it. I don't get it, y'all. I don't get it. But you know what? Everything is not for me to get, because this is their story, right? This is their path. This is their timeline that they're choosing. And I just want people to understand what they are choosing to align themselves with, right? So the message that I got was that because of the lack of discipline, right? And the lack of self, like introspection and self-development, Spirit is literally giving your wealth away, right? Spirit is giving these people's wealth away. So I kept hearing, like, not necessarily like be careful what you wish for, but more so like be careful what you align yourself with. So you know when they say your energy speaks for you before you even open your mouth, right? So like when you walk into a room, your energy speaks for you before you open your mouth. So if you walk in a room confident, it's going to speak for you, right? If you walk in a room and you're scared and you're timid, your energy is going to speak for you. So Spirit was saying that like there are too many people who are aligning themselves with energies that are telling them what they want to hear and not what they need to hear, right? And it's because of this, like this fixation, right? This fixation, like, you know, like I said, chosen ones are walking karma. Divine beings are judgment itself. When someone has done you wrong in the past, someone from your past, you know, it's hurtful, especially while you're going through it, especially if it's still fresh. And it's understandable that you would still be in that energy. But at some point, you're going to have to learn to let that go, right? Specifically when it comes to these readings where people are like, oh, this person from your past, and the energy is out there. Like I've said it before and I've said it again. The energy about people coming back, it's out there. The energy about people from your past getting their karma, it is out there. It is out there, right? But just be careful not to become too fixated on it, right? Because some people, first of all, some people are aligning themselves with storylines that aren't even theirs, right? But this this obsession is going to start manifesting in like physical ailments, right? I kept hearing headache. So if you are constantly listening to these type of readings, right? You don't even have to be subscribed to these channels. If you're tuning into these types of readings, if you are performing these types of readings and you find yourself either getting a headache like while you're doing the reading or while you're listening to a reading or after the reading, this obsession that you have with trying to constantly figure out what's going on and this person from your past life, this fixation is manifesting itself into a physical ailment, right? But more so, right? More so, the message that I got was that if you keep entertaining this energy, right? If you keep, and you know when people say like, don't force it, right? Don't force it. And a lot of times when people are telling you, oh, don't force readings, it's about because there's like a level of delusion, right? Because if you're forcing a reading to fit that you know is not really yours, eventually it's going to put you in a state of delusion. Eventually you're going to get to the point where you're like, oh, I know this is happening or I know that is happening. And that might not even be true. That's probably not even your storyline. You're just forcing it. And now you're you're going to cause yourself to go into psychosis because you're willingly allowing yourself to be delusional about something that's not even happening, right? But another reason why readers tell you do not force these storylines, because I've said this before, it's all about being an energetic match, right? It's about being an energetic match. If you, especially with these storylines where it's telling you, oh, this person from your past is losing everything. This person from your past is homeless. They're unemployed. They're, sick. They're this and that. Those type of storylines, if that is not truly your story, but if let's say your person from your past really hurt you and they did things and you're listening to readers and you're hearing them say, oh, someone from your past is going through this and you want that to be your person, like you haven't spoken to that person, you have no idea what's truly going on in that person's life, but you want that to be that person because you want that person to get their karma for what they did to you. If that is not your storyline, but you keep trying to force it, right? And trying to force it, what you're actually doing is you're lowering your own frequency. And you're lowering your own frequency on a level to where it is now an energetic match for that storyline. And when you're doing that, what you're telling spirit is that that's what you want. But you know how I said before, be careful what you wish for? You know how people will say, if you want to manifest something, don't say, I want to be debt free. Say, I want to be abundant, right? Don't say, I want to rid of disease. Say, I want to bring in health, right? Speak positively. Do not accentuate the positives, not the negatives, right? Because if you say, I want to be debt free, spirit hears, I want debt, right? Like they don't always get the full message, right? They don't always get, sometimes things get lost in translation. So you have to be careful about how you word things. And it's the same with these readings. If you are lowering your frequency to be on an energetic match with these low vibrational readings, what you're doing is you're telling spirit, I want to be a match for this, right? And sometimes the script can get flipped, right? And literally I got like the script is going to be flipped. Since you're saying, oh, I want to be a match on the level for this reading where this person is getting all of this negative thing. They're losing their job. They're losing their love. They're losing their home. They're losing this. They're losing that. What spirit hears is that, hey, I want to be on an energetic match for that. So now you're going to be the main character of that storyline, right? You are now, so like if you are watching readings now, especially as this is like the year of 9 and we're coming to an end, we're coming to a close, and next year being a year of 1, new cycles and new beginnings, what you're doing is that you're telling spirit, that's the new beginning that I want. So they're going to flip the script. So what you're watching now is actually a preview for what your next 7 years is to be, right? And I say 7 years because, y'all, I watched this this animated horror story, right? And it was talking about witches. And it was like, the narrator. The narrator mentioned something about 1 witch year being equivalent to 7 human years. And I thought that was so powerful because I was like, you know what? It makes sense as to why some people start their spiritual journey and they'll be on this journey for 7, 14, 21 years before they reach a certain level. Whereas other people will start their spiritual journey, and within 2 or 3 years, they are literally on the same energetic frequency as the people who have been on their journey for 7, 14, 21 years. And it's because these loops and these cycles are done in 7 years. And I also realized that when I was listening to another reader who mentioned something about being stuck in like a 7-year love cycle. And I realized that, you know what, the person from my past who I was in this off and on relationship with, we were actually in that off and on cycle for 7 years. So it makes sense, right? So like literally the message that Spirit was telling me was that if you don't learn your lesson, especially as we're in the year of 9 and all this cycle that you're in right now is coming to an end. And next year in the year of 1, you're going to have your new beginning. Right now is where you're determining where your fresh start is going to be. Either your fresh start is going to be in this happy, I'm getting like serene, serenity, this peaceful, this loving, this abundant new environment. Or if you stay stuck in this fixation, you're going to have a fresh start to another 7-year cycle, right? Another 7-year cycle of going through this with whoever this person is that you refuse to let go, right? And even if you've learned the lesson, let's say you've learned the lesson and you're not even in a relationship with this person anymore. If you are continuing to listen to readings and to tap into energies, trying to figure out what that person is going through, because you want to see this person get their karma. You want to see what downfalls and what hardships they have. And you aligning yourself with that because you are so focused on seeing this person get their karma. What you are telling Spirit, what you are telling the universe is that, hey, I want some of that too. And I'm getting like heapings. You are about to get heapings full, and it's not really what you want. And then also, you know, when y'all are, let's just say you're someone and you just thoroughly enjoy tarot. Let's say you're someone and I don't want to call it like an addiction, but let's say you're someone and you're like, I don't know if I can give up tarot. You know, some people like to read, some people I like to go for walks, some people like to swim. You know, everybody has their own thing. Let's say you are someone and you're like, you just thoroughly enjoy tarot, whether you be the reader or the watcher, right? At the end of each message, what I want you to do is I want you to reject the message, right? You can listen for entertainment, get the lesson, but then after you get the lesson, I want you to reject the message, okay? By rejecting if you don't reject it, what you're doing is that you're accepting it. You're telling Spirit, you're telling the universe that you accept it. If you reject the message, what it does is it keeps you from energetically internalizing it, right? It keeps you from becoming an energetic match to it. So go ahead and listen. If you really want to, go ahead and listen. And then at the end, just reject it. And that goes for any reading that is not on a frequency that you aspire to be on, right? If it's not telling you that good things are coming in or whatever, if it's telling you, oh, if you don't do this, this is going to happen, and it's negative, it has a negative outcome, reject it. Listen to the message, get the lesson, you know, heed the warning, and then reject the message, right? Because some of these readers are telling you these things because they're actually really trying to warn you. A lot of readers that tap into these same energies over and over again is they're just doing it because it's a way to keep up views, right? Like this is if you're a reader and you do one view and it gets a couple of 100 hits, and then, you know, you do another one and it gets thousands, like of course you're going to stay with that one, right? I mean, it's better to just each day give the authentic message that comes for that day, or, you know, once a week, however often you do your readings. It's better to give the authentic message that comes through that day. But a lot of people, what they're going to do is they're going to stick with what works, right? They're going to stick with what works. But, you know, just like I said, just make sure you're rejecting the message, because there are energy vampires out there, right? And there are some readers that are energy vampires, and some of them do these same readings over and over again. Is because they're trying to get you stuck in this energy. Because if you're stuck in this energy and your frequency is now low, now they're absorbing all of your good frequency, right? All of your high vibration, they're absorbing all of that, and they're leaving you stuck in this lower level vibration, right? So all of that good fortune that you are supposed to be getting, that's supposed to be coming in with you, by keeping you stuck and fixated, they are spiritually garnishing your good fortune, right? And you're willingly letting it happen by openly accepting and allowing yourself to stay stuck. You are letting it happen, right? So it's like, it's not anything that you can blame anybody else for. You are allowing it to happen. But like I said, if you just really enjoy tarot and you want to listen to the readings, that is a-okay. Just make sure that you are protecting yourself. Make sure you are regularly taking your spiritual baths. And at the end of each message, all you have to do is just reject the message. Okay? Y'all, I don't want to stay in this energy for too long. Like I said when I started, I'm going to go ahead and end that here. As always, if you made it this far, thank you for listening. Bye.